Okay, so it's about time I've taken a closer look at this figure here. This is the latest piece into the Godzilla collection here on this channel, and of course my own personal Godzilla collection. This is the HIYA Toys Burning Godzilla from 2019's King of the Monsters. Now this is the event exclusive. This is not the basic figure. This is the event exclusive. Shout out to my girlfriend who so kindly picked this up for me. Very beautiful figure. What makes this different from the basic release is the translucent plastic as opposed to I guess the opaque non-translucent plastic. Maybe we'll be able to see more of that in some close-ups. Now what really sets the figure apart for me, of course, is one, the accessories, which we'll talk about shortly, but mainly just the way they've been able to portray the very darker, more charred or burned areas on Godzilla. Really makes him stand out, like these areas along the scales and on top of the spines here, dorsal plates. In addition to the darker shades of value, we also have deep within, kind of like the cracks of Godzilla, we have the more lava or magma thermonuclear effects going on deep within his skin, making it really look like he is blowing up from the inside. Very awesome paint job on this guy. As you can see, we'll take a closer look at him from head to toe, or in this case, tail to head. Just very, 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 very awesome detail, as you can see. On top of the awesome detail, he also, of course, has pretty good articulation. This is your basic Godzilla from HIYA Toys. The articulation is of course not as good as, let's say, an SH Monster Arts figure. However, it is still pretty darn good, and this is a nice, hefty, large figure. You know, you don't have to really worry about it breaking joints or anything. So just to demonstrate here, we can sort of get his arms into mostly realistic Godzilla poses. He doesn't have a very wide range in the arms, although he can bend his elbow really far back for some reason. He is fairly limited, but that's not to say that the articulation is bad. You can see he can look decently far up. If you were to combine that with maybe the leg articulation, you can get him to look all the way up, or maybe get him into the swimming pose. Yes, the famous swimming pose. Very nice. As you can also see, he has the articulated jaw and tongue. Definitely big selling point for me there. Very cool. Cool. Probably the most impressive joint is right here in the middle of the body, right in his torso. You can get him to lean over quite a bit to make it look like maybe he's charging at an opponent, or perhaps to make him look more so upward, or as we said before, put him into the swimming pose. Legs have a pretty decent wide range of articulation. He has a joint here above the knee and right here below the knee as well, and of course a ball joint on the foot. And of course, much like a lot of Godzilla figures, the range of your ball joint is a bit limited due to how big and massive the figure is. If we move down to the tail of course has really good articulation as well. Unlike Monster Arts, this is very heavy duty. It's not going to fall apart easily. These joints in the tail, however, you do need to stress quite a bit to get into poses, but I don't know if it's the quality of the plastic being a bit more malleable than Monster Arts figures, but you can really bend this figure in the tail specifically. And that really does help with the posing, and it just goes to show that he's not going to break apart, which is, I think, the biggest deal, right? I already talked a little bit about detail, but I just want to go over likeness. Obviously, this figure is mostly based off real files from the movie provided by Legendary themselves, as far as I'm aware, making him extremely, extremely accurate to the film, rather than being fully hand sculpted. Not that I dislike Yuji Sakai's work, it's just that this is a way more accurate MonsterVerse Godzilla than prior figures. Let's now talk about accessories, because he does come with a few. Sadly, he does not come with a breath effect part, pretty much just like Monster Arts nowadays. So, but he does come with these fisted hands. I guess if you want him to punch Ghidorah. Being that I'm severely struggling to get both fists onto Godzilla at this time, you definitely should heat treat the fists before you attempt to put them on your figure. I will just show you the one fist here, his right hand. You can actually see it also doubles as a holding hand, so he can hold weapons, I suppose, if you really want him to, but not really sure why they did that. I guess they wanted to give you the option for him to potentially hold things. Not that he's gonna ever come with an item to hold, but that is the fisted hand. So last thing we'll do here is take a little comparison look at Godzilla, Burning Godzilla next to his SH Monster Arts counterpart. You can see, first of all, the size. The HIYA Toys Godzilla is much larger, as to be expected, about a full inch in height he has over the SH Monster Arts figure. The one on the left, the HIYA figure, is at a larger scale, of course, that being 7-inch, while the Monster Arts is, of course, 6 inches. You can also just see the difference in paint, in detail, right off the bat. The one on the left, HIYA, is a lot more accurate in color and sculpt, while the one on the right kind of has this odd kind of Cheeto dust kind of look. And I don't even know, look at the arms here. It goes from kind of your dark magma, burnt, I don't know, brimstone kind of color into this dark cherry color, and then back into the Cheeto dust color. It's a little off-putting when you look at them side by side. The sculpt too, as we discussed before, yes, Yuji Sakai sculpts I find to be very beautiful and awesome, but nothing just tops the accuracy that HIYA has provided in terms of detail. If you were to choose one or the other, you'd have to go with the HIYA figure. It's just the definitive Burning Godzilla now, at least from 2019, right? The definitive version of that figure. But before we go, we have to see Burning Godzilla next to his adversary. So here he is next to King Ghidorah, and as you can see, he barely fits into frame. The scaling works super well with these figures, unlike the SH Monster Arts version of these two characters. Obviously, both of them are a lot larger than those figures, but as I just said, the scaling just fits super well compared to the others. And these two just look awesome next to each other. You can definitely get some awesome diorama shots out of this. And if you get the accessory to work, unlike me, you could replicate some awesome scenes in the film as well, especially that end scene when Godzilla is stomping on Ghidorah's chest, or the events leading up to that part in the film. Very awesome figure. So let's give the final verdict. So as I said in the comparison earlier between the HIYA figure and the SH Monster Arts figure, this Burning Godzilla, the event exclusive figure, is essentially the pinnacle, or the quintessential Burning Godzilla figure from 2019. Nothing that any company has made has really come close to a figure like this, at least in terms of a 6 to 7 inch articulated figure. The detail is just perfect. It has that translucent orange plastic that a lot of collectors are looking for. It has the accurate paint. It has the accurate sculpt, and just comparative in price to SH Monster Arts, it's just night and day. Now, obviously, the biggest issue is going to be coming across a event exclusive like this. I purchased this, or rather my girlfriend purchased this, during a window where HIYA was doing pre-orders for this figure. It was the second printing, I guess you could say, of this figure. So I'm not sure if there's other retailers that are gonna have the figure, like maybe Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth will have them at some point, but it is quite hard to come by. I think you can't just go online and find this figure, which is unfortunate, especially when it is as I said before, the quintessential burning Godzilla figure. Like, you don't want to settle for anything less. This is a great figure that is obviously just unfortunate that it is locked behind that event exclusive label. And other little flaws include, obviously, the articulation comparative to the SH Monster Arts. The SH Monster Arts figures obviously blow HIYA out of the water, and I think they continue to do that to this day. But with newer figures coming out, I think HIYA is slowly getting up to the pace with articulation with Monster Arts. So it's just a matter of time, I feel, before we have really highly articulated HIYA figures. But until then, this figure lacks in that department just a little bit. But if you're willing to put that aside, you're willing to go for the hunt, maybe spend a little extra money on a resale version of this. This is the burning Godzilla figure that you want in your collection, and you can mix them with your other figures. If he's the only HIYA figure you buy, then so be it. He's worth it, in my opinion. So that is my review of the HIYA Toys Burning Godzilla from 2019. Thanks for watching.